Football Weddings, Week 3 edition. The week of upsets, almost happening. So my daughter is big into face painting right now, so I can't get away from that. That's okay, because I told her, hey, make me look like a football player. Since I'm not 6'5", 280. Number 1, Georgia barely survives. LSU escapes. Missouri squeaks by. Some of the top-tier SEC teams didn't look so good this week when they're not playing directional schools. We'll get to those games and more, but I first want to start with this observation. When the college football playoff was first created, I was a huge proponent of it. The BCS needed to go the way of voting for a national champion, and that was a huge success. But now we've moved into the 12-team college football playoff. And again, I was all for this because who wouldn't want epic matchups between historic schools in a win or go home scenario? Plus, you get the added bonus of the 5 through 8 teams getting to play a home game. I mean, that's awesome. It's going to be 3 weeks of nirvana for college football fans. But last night's Georgia-Kentucky game is the first time that I have to agree with the skeptics of this 12-team college football playoff. They've been arguing that it's going to devalue the regular season. And it's not really up for debate that college football has the greatest regular season in sports. They say that the playoff will take away the suspense of pretty much every game in the regular season. I think that's a little over the top. But last night, number 1 Georgia was in a dogfight with unranked Kentucky. And obviously I was into it, but it didn't have the same feeling as the last few years or basically my whole life. A loss like that for Georgia would have severely hurt their chances of being able to play for a national championship. But now, a loss like last night would have barely affected their chance at getting a bye in the playoff. And that's because all 4 conference winners get automatic byes. This is the reality we live in now. But I also think that current feeling is going to go away in a few months when we're all enjoying Texas versus Ohio State, Alabama versus Miami, Oregon versus Tennessee. But for now, this regular season does have a different feel to it. Okay, let's get to the week 3 games. Newsflash for Kentucky. When you have the number 1 team in your place on the ropes, you don't punt the ball with 3 minutes to go. I don't care if it was 4th and 8. I don't care if you had all 3 timeouts and this new 2-minute warning that they don't like to call 2-minute warning. You don't punt it. You go for the win. You don't expect Georgia to just hand it to you and you think you're going to get a 3 and out after punting away. They're the number 1 team for a reason, or at least formally number 1. Because I fully expect them to fall down the rankings. You don't put up 13 points and hold on to that ranking. At least they better not. I know the SEC gets a whole lot of bias, but not this week. Their offense looked putrid. All I hear from certain analysts is that this Carson Beck is maybe a number 1 overall pick. When you take away their running game, he looks very average. I know they play Bama in 2 weeks. That'll be interesting. Speaking of teams that I challenged last week to start playing like top 10 teams, Alabama and Oregon, I give it up to you. Both of them were very impressive yesterday. They weren't playing juggernauts, but Bama going into Camp Randall and pounding them, give it up. They actually flew north to play a team. It's very rare. And Oregon going up to their rival and putting up 50 points, that's more like Oregon. Both teams may have looked like they found a spark right before conference play. If you wanted to show someone the pure lunacy of college football, all you'd have to do is put on the tape of yesterday's LSU versus South Carolina game. 800 total yards, 5 turnovers, 22 penalties for 198 yards, 2 defensive touchdowns taken off the board, 7 replay reviews, a go-ahead touchdown in the last 2 minutes, and a game-tying field goal that missed by inches. Heartbreaking loss for South Carolina and all us Brian Kelly haters. Let's go to the play of the day. Sometimes it's not always about a spectacular catch or a big hit or a game-winning play. Sometimes it's about highlighting the plays that make this sport what it is. Let's go to the Kansas UNLV game, courtesy of ESPN.
Now the tempo element of this go-go offense. Sluka using the middle, lost the football. And it's recovered by Kyron James.
That is the definition of a cartoonish fumble if I've ever seen one. And they gained 8 yards on it. Spectacular. Let's look at the Heisman race. I'll be honest, no change after week 3. Number 3, Travis Hunter, had a great game yesterday. Colorado, surprising us a little bit. I know it's Colorado State, but hey, that's a decent rivalry, and Colorado's looked bad Travis Hunter, 13 catches, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 tackles, and a pass defense. Again, I think he is just pound for pound the best player in college football. But he's got to continue to put up these kind of stats, get some interceptions, maybe a punt return for a touchdown if he really wants to get up to try to win this Heisman. I'm going to leave Quinn Ewers at number 2. I know he left the game fairly early with the injury, but what he did against Michigan, you're staying up there in the top 3. But right now, it's Cam Ward's to lose. Yesterday, I know it's Ball State, but 346 yards, 5 touchdowns. I know that Florida win is starting to look a little less impressive every week. God, Florida's bad. But right now, he's the best quarterback, and quarterbacks put up the most stats, and that's mainly what the Heisman is, with a few moments in between. He's number 1. Let's do some quick hits for this week. I have to talk about my Irish a little bit, coming off that devastating loss last week. They go up to Purdue and win 66-7. That's not something Notre Dame does very much. Just blow out Power 4 teams. Where the hell was that last week? It actually annoyed me watching it. Another week, another Oklahoma opponent who had the ball in the fourth quarter to take the lead. Sorry, Woso. SEC is licking their chops. Speaking of the SEC, Tennessee's offense right now may be historic. Putting up 65 points before half. Did anyone see Arch Manning yesterday? 5 total touchdowns. I think Texas will be just fine next year post Quinn Ewers. Again, sorry, Woso. You got to deal with him. Little preview of next week, week 4. Ohio State returns from their bye. I hate college football buys. NFL, a little different. I love me some NFL buys. We got USC at Michigan. This is USC's first Big Ten game. No pressure, Wolverines. Oh, and look at that. We got Tennessee at Oklahoma for the 3rd time. Ooh, sorry, Woso. Good luck. Thanks for watching No Fault Weddings, part of the Co-Working It universe. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all next week.